It wasn't that I was fully unhealthy, but the stress of applications, the MCAT, school, graduating, all that, it really took its toll on me.
In this video, I interview my client Andrew, and we talk a lot about his journey through fitness and how it's helped his mental and physical health improve. Let's dive into it. All right. Welcome, Andrew. Excited to have you on here on the podcast. You want to start off by just giving a brief introduction about yourself, sort of, maybe where you're from, what you're doing currently in life, and any other fun facts you want to share?
Sure, Zach. By the way, it's great to see you again. Nice to be here.
Yeah.
And let's see where to begin. Well, I was born and raised and still live in Los Angeles, and I'm a med school applicant. Knock on wood, I hear something about that soon. And generally speaking, I am trying to figure out my life in more ways than one, including fitness.
Amazing. I love that. I'm super excited to dive into your fitness journey here. Also, fingers crossed for med school.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, so would love to kind of start from take us back like maybe 6 to 8 months ago. What was sort of like, or even earlier if you want, what was sort of the state of your health and fitness before we started working together?
So last year, it wasn't that I was fully unhealthy, but the stress of applications, the MCAT, school, graduating, all that, it really took its toll on me. So as a result, I did not feel fully like myself. And for
Mm.
that reason, I knew I had to make a drastic change. And that in the end turned out to be more of a fitness mindset. And I think that it was definitely something that helped because I've felt better ever since.
Wow, that's wonderful to hear. So glad to hear that you're, been feeling better ever since. What were some of the steps you took to, I guess, to feel better?
Like I mentioned before, it was more of a mindset shift. It wasn't to become a bodybuilder. It wasn't to do any of that. It was more so I mean, it's a short term thing and a long term thing just to feel better. And that's why I started to go to my local gym 4 times a week minimum. I pay attention much more to what I eat to make sure that I'm eating better. It's not that I was
Hmm.
eating snacks and junk food before, but I think I realized, especially on carbs, I was having too much carbs.
Mm,
And even the little things like walking more or going outside more, I think it really does have a positive impact. Even with all the rains we've had in LA, I enjoyed leaving the house as much as I could.
I love that. Have you heard the quote, movement is medicine?
Ooh, no,
I
but that
love that
actually
one.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I love that one. So love to hear that you're more active. Yep, I remember, yeah, when you came on, it was yeah, one of the things with nutrition, we were like, once you started to kind of take, track of everything that you were eating, you were like, oh shoot, I'm eating like pretty much all carbs. Like that's that's where I'm getting my nutrition from. And so then, yeah, I remember that we switched, added some more proteins in there as well. I love that.
And not enough
Um,
water. I definitely added more
oh,
water.
yeah, amazing. What would you say? So when you said like maybe you weren't feeling as well, you're feeling stressed out beforehand versus you felt better afterwards. What do you mean by that specifically? Like walk us through like when you weren't feeling good, how were you feeling? And then when you did feel better, what exactly were the things that felt better for you?
Well, I had trouble doing normal day to day things, whether it was physical things or also just the motivation to do stuff. And it really
Mm,
did come down to the stress and the panic and the anxiety of this
okay.
admissions process of graduating, of having to get my life together. So it really
Yeah.
did have a bad impact. But now, I can run on a good amount of sleep now. I can do basically anything that I set my mind to, and that's always a
Yeah.
good thing.
That's wonderful. What do you think were for anyone listening to this who's maybe in a state that was similar to where you were at of like feeling anxious, feeling like just maybe low motivation, hard to get yourself to do other things. What were some of the mindset changes that you had that have brought you to where you're at now?
So certain things are just not going to change. I mean, for example, if you're in the middle of an important change in your life, I know it's going to be tough to have a mindset change, and it may not be 100%, but you can at least do a 50% shift in your attitudes and your personality and your activities in life, and it really will make a big difference.
Mm, yeah, I couldn't agree more.
I can add
I
more, but what
love
was
it.
the question?
Just sort of like what are the mindsets that have helped you sort of shift frame to where you're at now?
I think I learned that every little bit counts. every single little thing that you change about yourself, it adds up to be a positive change as a whole for yourself, especially with fitness and eating right. I mean, every little thing builds up from before and it makes you a better person and a healthier person, which is the most
Yeah,
important.
100%. I remember when we met in, I think, was it August that we initially
Yeah,
met?
August.
August? Yeah. Yeah, I remember you sharing with me like, "Gosh, I'm just, like, so stressed, like, I'm just freaking out, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I gotta have, like, 3 backup plans, and, like, I gotta make sure I got this ready," and now, like, I mean, we didn't record this part, but we were talking right before this call, and, like, just the change in your demeanor, the amount of, like, just how much calm and acceptance you have. You're like, "Yeah, if this path that I'm on works out, cool. If it doesn't, like, I know I'm gonna figure it out," you know? That was kind of the
Exactly.
the energy that I've gotten from you, which is really, really cool, and I'm happy to hear that fitness was part of, kind of getting you there, it sounds like.
For
That's
sure.
really awesome.
100%.
I love that. What would you say was, like, your favorite part of the program?
Favorite part of the program, definitely learning how to eat better. I think that was definitely
Mm,
important because whether or not I do the exact same exercises, generally speaking, you can shift around, but you can always eat better. And I couldn't agree more with what you had told me about, what ratios and to drink more water. It definitely has helped with my diet.
yeah. Have you noticed any, like, physical effects too of, like, once you get that nutrition piece in, like, how have you been feeling physically, mentally, energy-wise? Like, have you noticed any shifts in those things?
Well, except for right after I go to the gym, I'm actually usually pretty energetic and have enough energy to last for the day. So that's always good. And definitely the drinking water part, it really did make me feel better. It made me less groggy. It made me more, um, what's the word? I'll come up with it. But it, generally
Yeah.
speaking, the water part was the most positive, drastic change
I love
for the
that.
better.
Yes, anyone listening, if you're feeling low energy, you're not feeling, great, whatever, drink more water. Like,
Yeah.
it's really that simple, right? Like, just that one change can be just so, like, exponential in how much better it makes you feel. I love that you're sharing that.
Such an easy
Um,
shift.
yeah. So, you mentioned a lot of good things here. You mentioned, water, you mentioned getting more movement in addition to that, is there any, like, if you had to pick one piece of hard tactical advice for anyone who's listening, what would you tell them?
Don't skip leg day, basically.
Yes.
But there's some truth to it. I mean, not just leg day in general, but whatever you have trouble with, don't skip it thinking, oh, you'll come back to it later as an exercise because
Mm.
you probably won't. Just do it, and eventually it'll get easier and easier and more straightforward.
Oh man, that's a gem right there because
Yeah,
like that applies to anything in life, right? It's like I love what you just shared of, don't skip leg day, but it really applies to anything. Like anything that there's another quote I heard where the magic is in the work you're avoiding.
ooh, that
I
one's good.
really like that quote because
Yeah,
like for me, like running my business, I've noticed too, like whatever the bottlenecks are for me, it's usually a piece of work that I don't want to do and that I'm avoiding. And as soon as I do that piece of work, it like unlocks and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. Like I just had to get through my own mental block of not wanting to do, that thing. So I love that you shared that.
exactly.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And I don't remember if this was when we were recording or not, but you had said the quote of movement is medicine. I also think that
Yeah.
is definitely true. I mean, it's, my own grandmother is 80 years old almost, and, she's in tip top shape because she's constantly doing things, wants
Wow.
to go out of the house, wants to run her own errands, visit people, drive, and she does it pretty well.
Right.
And I think it really is clear to me and everyone around us that, compared to her peers and her siblings, for example, it really does
Mhm.
have a big impact. Just moving around, not staying home, not being lazy, but also taking care of yourself. It's not, how do I put this? At any age, you shouldn't just give up and say, "Oh, okay, well, I'm 30 now. At this point, whatever happens, happens. Just let it be." No, I mean, you should be paying attention to your health and constantly be improving yourself and pushing yourself.
Yeah. Literally. I've actually started I spend 2 full workout days doing just mobility now
Ooh,
because I was thinking about it and I was like, honestly, like, I'm training for longevity, you know? Like, that's really the reason that I train consistently is I mean, other than my mental health and it making me feel better, like, I'm training so that I can live, a good quality of life and be able to, pick up my grandkids one day and, carry them around and play with them. And like, I got to be able to move for that, when people get old and they get, aches and pains and like can't bend down to tie their shoes, that's literally just because of mobility. Like they don't have that flexibility anymore. And they haven't built up those small stabilizing muscle groups. So yeah, I love what you're saying there too. I think mobility and just being able to move more is so key.
100%.
Um,
Although, just to make sure you don't get sued, everyone has their limits, so don't push your limits, people. Um, I mean, yeah, yeah, don't overdo it. I mean, you can stay mobile for 30 years, but just maybe don't go crazy.
exactly. Yeah. If you're an 80-year-old with no prior mobility training, don't jump into a full routine.
Even a
You'll
20-year-old,
probably
just
break
yeah,
something.
20-year-old, just gradual.
Exactly. Exactly. Gradual buildup. Awesome. Last question I got for you is if people are interested in connecting with you, where's the best place they can find you?
Ooh, well, I mean, you can have them reach out to me. Let's see, where do people normally say they like to be reached out to? I mean, I can do WhatsApp if you give them my WhatsApp, or I also have Instagram, but I kind of prefer
It could
sticking to
be, yeah,
WhatsApp until
usually
I
it's
get to know
like
them.
some sort of social media thing. Like, yeah, so like Instagram or um, LinkedIn or email are like the typical three.
Okay,
So
that's
do you have
true.
a
Actually, I have a
preference?
LinkedIn. There we go. Let's do LinkedIn. All
There
right.
you go.
I
Okay.
am I am Andrew Panosian on LinkedIn. So come and find me.
LinkedIn.
I have my picture and I'm wearing a vest. So that's all you
Perfect.
need.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Andrew. This was great. Appreciate you coming on here, sharing your fitness journey, and hopefully this was helpful to anyone listening.
Thank you for
All
everything,
right.
Zach. I mean, if anyone's listening, you're in good hands. He's very capable and you will have no issues.
Appreciate that, my man. All right. Let's wrap it up there.